wajima mevere wajima nentama wajima mevere mi wajima nentama mukyaro mukone nakabora.
We took an empirical research to find out some of the agricultural projects that are taking place in the two districts, being Solwezi district and Kalumbila district. Surprisingly, we realized that there was so much which is happening in these two districts. Some of these activities are being undertaken by the cooperatives, these activities are being undertaken by the farmers, but also the mines are doing so much, like Kalumbila, Kansanshi and Lumwana mines, so much in promoting the primary agricultural activities. Furthermore, we also realized that there are so many non-governmental organizations who are operating in the same region. However, these projects are happening in isolation. Let us just take a stock of some of the activities which are happening in the districts. We are by Havila Gardens, and I'm privileged to have the director for Havila. And just kindly tell us a little bit more about what you do at Havila Gardens.
Okay, so Havila, we've got two branches. We've got a retail part, and we've also got a nursery part. This is our nursery, upcoming nursery part, where we'll be growing seeds from seedlings, and also up to the grafting stage. Like for the citrus and the fruits, we graft them to a stage where we push them into the market. So basically that's what we do here. Basically right now we have about 43 types of fruits, starting from avos, apples, bananas, mangoes, citrus like lemons, Eureka lemons, we have kumquats, we have shaddocks, we have oranges, the Washington navos, we have the morning, midnight, those kind of citrus fruits. Plus we have plums, we also have nectarine, macadamia. We have about 43 different varieties of fruits. Okay, what we want to achieve at Havila is we want to promote the small-scale farmers who are already growing the fruit trees in a primitive way, the old way. The goodness with us is that those people have an old variety which they've had for centuries, over 50 years. So we want to come up with a variety that is of hybrid, and it's a new variety of like the mangoes, the canes, the Tommy, which is able to compete into the food chains like Pick and Pay, ShopRite and all that. Basically our model is to empower the small-scale farmers to become commercial farmers and be able to penetrate the food chain industry, where it's been hard to compete in terms of quality of the fruits that they're able to produce right now.
I know that some of the districts in Northwestern province, for example, when you go to Chavuma, there's a lot of production of oranges, there's a lot of production of mangoes, and most of their mangoes go to west. What is the difference that when we empower these farmers, how can they, what strategy are you going to use, or what is the product, or how different is the product, such that it will enable them to penetrate the chain stores as it was, considering that most of their fruits are going to west? Okay,
the goodness is that now in Northwestern we are able to boast of a good network. In terms of road network is good. Chavuma, yes, has got a very good climate for citrus fruit, but if you go back maybe 20-50 years ago, you find that the citrus fruits that they have, that is the oranges, their lemons, and then their natchez, is that it's the old variety. They have those trees, but we are saying that, listen, they can compete favorably on the new market if we give them the variety that is like the havos, the Hass Avo, the natchez, the big natchez, which now we find in our chain stores. So already those small-scale farmers in Northwestern, they're already doing it. So we are saying, let's give them the expertise, let's give them the right variety, let's give them the consultancy and the right technology for them to use, and let's give them the right food. Once we give them the right fruit, they'll be able to compete. And we'll try and help them to bring into the market if they can do it.
How easy is it to have access to finance for expansion?
It's very difficult to access financing. Reason being that there's nothing happening. So what we are trying to do is, in our small capacity, is to create a value chain, a sustainable value chain whereby we want to grow, even if it's 1 hectare of, let's say, Kent mangoes. We want to first grow it so that the financial institution can come and see for themselves that, okay, this is a small mango and it's able to grow, and that's what we're doing. We started last year. about mid-end of last year, and we've got some mangoes now, like the Kent mango and the Tommy, which have already started producing fruits at about 60-70 centimeters. So that's an achievement that we've done. We've also tried to do some seeds like apples. They say apples, cashew nuts cannot grow in this environment. We've done it. Mid next year, we'll be able to push more fruit into the ground, and we'll be able to say we grew it from the seed, and this is it has produced.
At Butembo Milling, we manufacture mini meal, breakfast, roller. We look at it from the point of view of the maize. We're able to process at full capacity 600 bags of maize a day. That is 30 tons of maize a day. We've also established a fish feed plant, which we're making fish feed for the farmers in the catchment area under the ISA project. The farmers are in Solwezi, Kelengi, and Kasempa. In terms of penetration, of course, there's a lot of competition. Other players especially in the maize milling sector, but the penetration is not okay. It's not bad because others have come in and found us and have managed to capture a bit of the market. So, and there's still a large market out there. For example, in the chain stores, and also our neighbors, the DRC. So the market is not really such a problem. Our plans are that in terms of raw material, we're also providing a market for the maize farmers. And then we'll also be providing a market for the soybean producers. But our plan is that we want to link up with the input suppliers like Sidico, Pana, and MRI, so that we can provide a market, because we also have an agro dealership. So what we intend to do is to link up with the maize seed suppliers and the soybean seed suppliers, and then we talk to the farmers through the cooperatives, and we assure them of a market, so that once they buy their seed from us, whether soya or maize, then we will assure them that we will buy their yields at the time of harvest. That is the way we want to move forward, so that you can also our project can benefit the primary producers and then the end users of our products. And the market is available in Solwezi, Congo, DRC, and the chain stores. It's not very easy from the traditional market, like the banks. They demand for collateral and accounts. But I've seen that what I've experienced is that sometimes, even when you have the collateral, you have your books already done and everything is up to date, they still will not be able to. They'll find some excuse not to fund you. They bring in something else, and at the end of the day, you don't get it. Going forward, I think the chamber is on the right path in setting up these meetings, which are bringing together all the stakeholders, so that this agriculture value chain program can be successful.
Our company is Huntry Investments. We are into food supply and office consumables. So our main line of business is food supply, which includes supply of fish. Fish is our main business that we have. The product is coming from China. We are importing about 60 tons a month, and then we're spending close to $50,000 on our supplies, on our product. So you've seen the consumption is too huge. So I don't know what the government can come up for them to mitigate this challenge of fish. Of course, our local fish is very expensive. So we need, I don't know what measures can be put across so that this fish can be competitive compared to the fish that we're importing. In Solwezi, we have a lot of water bodies, but we don't have farmers that are growing fish. That's a challenge due to capacity to the farmers, for farmer to do ponds and other stuff. So it's really a challenge for the farmer. Yeah, as a company, the biggest challenge we face is the transportation costs. It takes a month when we order our consignment. So in some instances, we find that we don't have stock because the stocks have run out, the trucks at the border. So if this thing were, if we are growing our own fish, it was going to be easier, and then we are going to get fish on time. My advice is to bring in equipment. We need blast freezers. When farmers crop their fish, they need to be cleaned, put in the blast freezers. Of course, the biggest market require guarded and scaled. So we need the facility to guard and scale. In terms of cash crops, the mines, there's a big market. Now our farmers have no capacity to grow these vegetables. That's why the contractors resorted to get their vegetables from Lusaka, because in Northwestern we have no capacity. So if you can come in and empower the local farmers, I think that way we'll be able to manage. But the mine is not helping on the market side. Most of the farmers, when you go to them, they will say, we grow this, it has not been bought. So the farmers are stuck on the market. Yeah. And then the skills also is important, because we need a skill to grow tomatoes, a skill to grow potatoes, carrots. Like last week or the other week, I was given a ton of carrots to supply. I couldn't find anywhere to get that kind of tonnage. Yeah. So the skills and the financial support is really required.
Rumana Mining Company has a very strong corporate social responsibility program, which hinges on three key pillars. So the first key pillar is on engagement with stakeholders. I won't dwell so much on that. Then the other one has to do with social risk mitigation. The third one is the component for community development. And so I'll dwell on the one for community development, which is in discussion right now. Community development programs that we have at Rumana Mining Company are derived from the social risk analysis. So we understand the issues that are arising in the community in terms of the mine investment, the opportunities available for the local people, and so different programs are designed in terms of community development based on that. If you went around Rumana area in the 3 chiefdoms, you find the classroom blocks that we have done, the health centers, even an abattoir in Chief Mena's area has been done because of funds that we are providing to the Rumana Community Trust. The other dimension has to do with the alternative livelihoods. We know that one day the mine is going to cease, and so it is important for us to, psych the local people in terms of coming up with different programs that they are going to sustain them. Livestock promotion, dairy programs, different forms of programs that will sustain the local people and create industry based on agro-processing for them, and we feel that is a very, very important area that can provide sustainable livelihoods as well as employment for the local people. And so within the same dimension of alternative lives, which I mentioned earlier, another key area which I don't want to forget is to do with, fish farming. This area is full of, it's a watershed area, full of many rivers and streams, and so the fish farming component has become very, very important. So that is one program that we're now steering. Already, for example, in Rumana East, we've put up one community dam where we have already stocked 40,000 fingerlings within that dam. Already we are discussing with different partners to see how best we can steer fish farming within the local area.
The Solwezi District Farmers Association is an independent association. We are affiliated to the mother body, Zambia National Farmers Union. We have approximately 2,500 members on our database. Among these members, there are about 500 who are very active in farming, different types of farming. We have some in aquaculture, we have some in vegetable gardening, and some are keeping small animals like goats, sheep, chickens, pigs, and so on and so on. Yes, these farmers are dotted all over. They are in Kalumbila, Mushindamo, and here in Solwezi. Remember, Solwezi was one before they divided it. So we still have these members. They have not yet started their own association. We still have members in the newly created districts. We have challenges as an association and as farmers. The farmers want to have access to loans. Normally they don't have collateral to be given loans by the big banks. The association has made headway to try and connect to banks like Zanaco and NatSafe. But again, it falls on the lack of collateral for the farmers to access these things which they need. Our big challenge again for the farmers to develop is that they are still using a hoe and an axe. They are still using the traditional way of farming, and that is not going to help farmers. We need also to go into animal traction. We need the machineries like tractors so that the farmers can develop. You know, the Solwezi or Northwestern forests, it's difficult for farmers to have big lands cleared so that they can grow on large scale. So these are some of the big challenges that the farmers have. Markets is also another big challenge. We have big shops now, the Choppies, ShopRite, and even Pick and Pay. Our farmers are yearning to get into these shops so that they can have a good income. But as it is, it's very difficult for the farmers to get their produce into these shops. We also have challenge with the main market. When they grow, there's only few customers there. So you find that some of the crops that they grow is going to waste. Congo there, DR, is another big market at the border. But the road is so impassable at times that even when farmers try to take their things there, they get stuck on these roads for many, many days, and their produce end up wasting. So these are some of the big challenges that our farmers are facing here in Solwezi.
My name's Ntambo Jerry, here in St. Francis. I started my serious farming in 2012 when Kansanshi came in and gave us some technical advice. In most cases, where I grow vegetables such as cabbage, rape, Chinese cabbage, onion, etc. etc. Vanzimi tudzivitota vinga bibichi. Nangwamba 200 ponse panga pamo. Uno mwaka vakansanshi betu nungira ko twaikala bantu 400. Pano mumone pa bantu 400 bonse na garden. Most of us have got a capacity to produce or to farm bigger areas. We have bigger areas, but we use our hoes. You see, when you use a hoe, you cannot have a very, very big, you cannot cultivate a big portion. If we were given, we had cows, animals, and hand tractors or tractors, I'm sure we can do wonders. The reason why we just have small portions is market. Market is really a big issue. If we produce a lot of vegetables, where can we sell them? In most cases, our market here is the local people. So if we had where to sell our vegetables, the capacity is there, we can produce even more. We can have big hectares of fields. We can feed the Solwezi and the whole province, even the whole Zambia, if given the assistance that we need. Because In most cases, fuel here is a problem when we want to water. I'm sure maybe if we had the solar pumps, those could be of much help.
My name is Julius Mwale. I'm the director of Penjam Enterprise Limited, based here in Solwezi. We are basically a company that deals with the electrical and general engineering. In the electrical, we are involved in contracting, supply of all the materials required for industrial and domestic installations. We are also involved in other areas like solar. We actually apparently are a specialist in solar here in Solwezi, where we deal with the solar for homes, for industry, and for farming. We know that one of the major requirements in production is human capital. And human capital is so important that for it to be more productive, we've got to make sure that they are comfortable. Now, on the farming, we have a product which we call, it's a solar pump. Normally in a farming situation, you have power from generators. But we've noticed, apparently I am a farmer myself, we've noticed that when you're using a generator, the cost of production is very high, and not only high but unreliable. Because most of the time you find that if it's not the fuel, it is the engine, the oil, and all. So you're spending more time working on your equipment. Whereas with solar, it is cheap in the sense that the running is very cheap, and then it is reliable, and then it is green, environmentally friendly, and also silent, you know. Whereas with the generator, there will be a lot of noise, but with a solar pump, it is quiet, and therefore it has many advantages for our farmers, and I think the value is quite huge. I would encourage each one of us to consider seriously acquiring this product. Well, it is available here in Solwezi. Any quantity you want, we're able to supply and source.
Wachimamebe